what it is, what's happening. So, no, the Jeep is not going to make it to Jeep Week. I just ran out of time working on some customer stuff, trying to get some jobs done around here. Just ran out of time. So I didn't throw the towel in. I'm still working on stuff for it, but the big push, not going to happen. There is, however, another Jeep event coming up in about a month, and we'll try to get it to there. A little disappointed, but it is what it is. So yesterday, I took some time and put a motor in this little Chevy wrecker. So it's up and running, yard drives, doesn't drive on the road too well, obviously, because, well, still missing some stuff. So it's just a small block Chevy. This truck, I think, originally was a big block truck. It's just a bone stock motor, but I'm missing all air bracket and the pulleys. I just don't have them. When I bought this truck, I bought it without the motor. I actually had this motor. It was a motor I knew ran well. Let me spin you around real quick. Bone stock. Actually, it's a 305 Chevy is what it is, but it's fine for what we're going to do with this wrecker. I don't have the exhaust completed on it, but I do have a Y pipe on it, so it's going to get single exhaust. I just got to hunt down the brackets. I do have a water pump for it, so I can put a water pump on it, and then I got to get an alternator bracket and the pulleys. I've got part of the fan shroud, and I got to buy a radiator for it. So I made all new battery cables for it. Got nice new cables, ground cable, and then goes down to there to our starter. Pretty much everything hanging on this thing is new. This motor has absolutely 0 miles on it. It was bought for another project, and I've switched gears on that other project, so I don't need it for the other project. And when I found this wrecker, actually I bought this from a buddy of mine, so when I got the truck, the deal we made on this truck was he kept the doors and he kept the motor. I got everything else. But it's a really nice solid truck, and I'm gonna put it back together. So I only have part of the fan shroud. I got the upper part. I don't have the lower, so I need a lower. And I need, like I said, the other brackets. But it's a cool old wrecker. It's an automatic truck. It's got turbo 400 in it. And not that I'm really going to tow a lot of stuff with it. What I'm going to do with it is, I don't know what I'm going to do as far as, I think I'm just going to flat black it and kind of make it like a shop truck. But it's got a hitch. And on the other side of my rollback is a car trailer. So I think I'm going to use it to tow the car trailer. I know some of you guys probably ask, why do I need a car trailer? Well, I really don't go out of state with a rollback much anymore. I just don't want to deal with DOT and all that crap. When I paint this truck or whatever I do as far as painting it, I'm actually going to put on the side of it, which somebody actually already had at one point. You can kind of make it out. Not for hire. So it'll be a private truck. So it'll just be like a regular truck towing a car trailer. But what's cool is, go after some piece of junk that don't have no wheels or don't run, or I can use a wrecker body, the winch, to drag whatever up on the car trailer. And it just gives me another excuse to own another tow truck like I need another tow truck. But if you follow the channel, you know that I like these old, raggedy, old tow trucks. You know, I like these things. They're cool. I grew up around these trucks, so I kind of enjoy them. But it's a pretty cool truck. It's a pretty solid truck. If I hadn't bought it, he literally was going to take it to the scrapyard because he could keep it at his house where he lives because he's got a rollback there. Supposedly, the motor we took out of this, which he wasn't lying because I had the breather cap off and I could look down the valve cover. It had roller rockers and some, I could see a screw and stud and guide plates. So supposedly it had, I never heard it run, but supposedly the motor had a lot of work done to it. Why it was in this tow truck, I have no idea. But he's going to put the motor in a rollback he has that needs a motor. And he needed the doors for parts to fix the doors on the rollback. That's why he kept the doors, which I was okay with because I actually have 2 brand new doors. The only downside is I need to find a set of doors for parts because I don't have the glass and the regulators, all that. But I made a call to a buddy of mine's junkyard today, and he thinks that their sister yard might have a truck, so he's going to call me back this afternoon. So we might have 2 parts stores coming for the truck. Everything else that's missing or I need, you can pretty much buy new. Actually, I just was online this morning. Amazon actually does have pulleys and brackets I can buy for about $100. I can have everything on the front of it. But I'm waiting for the phone call back from my buddy over at the yard, see what he's got, what he can hunt down for me. He said they drug in some older stuff. He's going to go look. Which kind of brings me to the point of this little video that I'm making today for the channel. You know, years ago, small block Chevys were plentiful. There's a fly in here. Small block Chevys were plentiful. And I'm even going to say as much as small block Fords and that stuff. They were a dime a dozen. The stuff we used to get, I mean, these trucks were all over the place. We're in 2023, and this stuff just isn't as plentiful as it used to be. I called several yards today, and there's nothing in the yards with small block Chevys in them. I asked for a van, mid-80s Camaro, Caprice, anything you can think of that would have 305, 350 Chevy in it. Nothing. I did have her call a yard that we use all the time, and the guy that that works the yard I've become buddies with, and he called over to their sister yard. He says, look, he said, I think there's one way out back they drug in several months ago. He said, I think it's still there. So he's making some calls, and I'm going to send a guy out in the yard to look to see if all the stuff's there. So if not, I'll just have to buy the stuff new. It is what it is. I'm not upset about it. I'm kind of making this, I don't want to say a hot rod, but kind of cool. So if I have to buy, if the pulleys and brackets, actually I looked on Amazon, and believe it or not, the chrome stuff is actually cheaper. Not that I want that, but it is what it is. The truck does have a cool cow hood. I mean, it's kind of cool. See, it's got a nice cow hood. How you see the truck sit right now is how I bought it. I don't know why they were sanding on the hood. That's how I bought it. The only thing I've done is pressure washed under the hood, repaired the wiring harness. It was a total disaster where it's been cut and spliced and patched up. I mean, I've got a lot of stuff. I repaired all the entire engine harness, but there's still a lot of other boogers. And I tell you, I've been fooling with old tow trucks all my life, and I find this a lot with tow trucks, this kind of crap. Butt connectors and cut wires, and let me show you this other cute little gem of a repair somebody did. I guess the blower motor wire must have took a crap. Let me get you in a little closer. Look at that cute little gem right there. It was hidden under some electrical tape. Well, the engine harness was the same exact way on these Chevys. Let me spin you around, it'll be easier to show you. Up here is a junction box. That wire right there runs down to the starter. That's what gives the truck cab power. That wire right there was just twisted together with a bunch of gobs. You can see I taped the harness up real nice all the way across. Taped it all up. This wire, let's see, where is it? Right here, you can see I repaired it, new splice and shrink wrapped it. That's on a fusible link that goes over to that junction box, and that also feeds power inside the cab. It was boogered up. I'm going to run this, I'm going to mount this on the dash along with an electrical gauge. I'm going to run this through some nice grommet here in the firewall. I'm going to run that through there. I just haven't done it yet. And I'm going to run a temperature gauge as well. I'm still going to have the electrical gauge, but I mean, I ran into a lot of this stuff. I still got to repair this. This is the wire that would excite the alternator. It's butt sliced. This one was some kind of twisted up crap. This will go to the back of the alternator, and then from the alternator over to the battery, I'll run a nice heavy wire, which I'll probably snake inside this loom here, make it nice and neat. Then I've got to repair, this isn't so hateful. This power wire goes back to the electric winch, and I got to make a new cable from here to the positive side of the battery. This solenoid here, when you flip a switch, is a continuous solenoid. That's what sends power to the winch. Then I've got this wire here needs to go on the positive side as well. I'll probably just go right here. This is what sends power to the control panel inside the truck to allow you to turn the winch on. and to power up all the other accessories that are on the dash right there. That runs over to here. And then, like I said, the winch is a worm driven by what looks like a starter motor. That's the motor that powers the winch. It's kind of cool. You got a buttons right here. And then there's a box over on the other side, so you can do it from both sides, which is kind of cool. But like I said, there's just tons of wiring that's just, I still got to repair all this. This stuff's just laying all over the place. This is part of the air conditioning bracket that I found. This truck originally, I think, was a big block truck, because underneath, this truck still had the factory dual exhaust on it. And the way the manifolds, or the way the pipe was turned up to the manifolds, I'm pretty positive it was a big block truck. I don't think these trucks ever came small block with factory dual exhaust. This thing has factory dual exhaust. There's two great big heat shields underneath of the truck. Let's see if we can see them. So that tells me it was definitely factory dual exhaust truck. There's your two heat shields. And I'm almost positive you could never get a small block with factory duals. This truck does have dual tanks. Turbo 400, and there's my brand new Y pipe. I'm just going to run single exhaust with probably a single muffler and just a turn down for exhaust. I'm probably going to do, I have a 40 series Flowmaster muffler, so I might just use that. But you can see, this truck is really nice. I mean, the cab supports, everything's in really, really good shape, which is odd for a truck, square body Chevy on the East Coast anyway. Things are usually turds, usually rotted out really bad. In fact, the square body Chevy that I use around here on the property, cab's pretty rough on it. It needs a lot of love. But that truck, we just use it around the property for picking stuff up, putting things down. So I'm pretty happy. This thing yard drives. It starts and runs, and now I can move it, which is nice. So it's not a pushmobile. So now I can slowly get the rest of the pieces and get it back together. But I kind of want to give an update on the wrecker, because there are guys that follow the channel that enjoy these old wreckers and want to see me do something with them. I'm thinking flat black is what I'm going to just paint the truck. I was going to do flat black with like maybe like light green, maybe some orange pinstriping, you know, like Van Dutch style pinstriping, and then maybe my name on the door. Kind of hot rodish, kind of, I don't know. Who knows? But I could use it to go after junk, tow some junk in. You know, it's nice. I have the rollback, and yes, I use the rollback all of the time. But it'd be nice to have an automatic truck. I mean, the rollback, there's nothing wrong with the rollback. It just gives me an excuse to have another toy to play with. That's all. And I haven't done much with this truck. I know I've talked about it on the channel. I was going to get back on it. I've been spending time fooling with other junk. Got a little bit of ADD here, you know, we kind of bounce around a little bit. So that's pretty much all the day that I got going on. Today's kind of getting ready to head down to the Ocean City for the Jeep show once my buddy gets, once my buddy gets here. And that's it for today. I might spend a couple hours working on this Trans and this Honda, and that's about it. But somebody over there pulling out. So look, holler at your boy, keeps it reals. Catch me on the next one. We are going to get into some stuff. Well, we have a running and driving truck again.